Yeah, we're recording. Perfect. Jordan, welcome to the podcast, man. I'm so happy to have you on here.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to be here.
It's amazing. I
It's
love the
about time.
shirt. It's about time. I love the beard too. The beard is
Oh
getting
yeah, the beard's getting nice. I had to trim it a little bit, but
I
it's
don't think I've ever seen number one, I don't think I've ever seen you with a beard that long. And when
oh
we met, you
yeah,
didn't
ever
even have a beard.
yeah, actually before you moved to Boston, I couldn't grow a beard. Now look at this bad boy.
I love that you have your shirt on plugging Cats Bros hockey.
Oh yeah.
Great thing. Dude, how awesome is it that, you know, during the time of quarantine you get to hang out with people during Zoom calls now. This is the new way of people communicating with everyone, and now I'm taking it as an opportunity to reach out to everyone and have a fun podcast.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's awesome. Like I actually myself started to do Zoom as well for training because you can't do it at the rinks anymore, right?
Yeah.
So it's very different, that's for sure. So, but I like it. I don't know about you. You like it?
Oh, I'm enjoying
Sure.
it. I'm so through five episodes now, five episodes, I think. Just been able to reach out to so many people, so it's super cool, man. So what have you been up to, man? Like tell the world what Jordan has been up to, man.
Been up to since quarantine?
Just in general, because it's you've now started this new thing, Cats Bros Hockey. What is?
Okay. Oh, so in general, okay.
Yeah,
So
man.
so I started my own hockey school that started off as like a camp,
Uh-huh.
and I would do that once a week in the summers. But then I progressed it into 3-on-3 leagues
Yeah,
because
that's super
I'm like,
cool.
yeah, you know what? I actually love it. It's amazing. Like, and for the little kids, I run it on this small rink, so it's like about a third of an actual rink.
Okay, where are you running
And
that?
so, Paramount Ice, right?
What's the intersection?
Dufferin and Steeles.
I think I know where that is. It's got like two other rinks there that are just
Yeah,
kind of
I think.
smaller.
Yeah, you used to go when you helped out at your practice. I thought that was the rink.
Yeah,
No,
I
yeah,
think I think so. We
I
may have.
think, yeah.
I'm not I
Or it
can't.
was Cheswood that you did it at, but I think it was
We had a
Paramount.
few different rinks that we worked at. But yeah, go on, sorry.
Oh no, no, no. Yeah, so actually, I made it for the little kids last year, and it was awesome. And I was gonna do it again this year and have a lot more kids than I have had
Yeah,
in the past. Like last year, I had 100 or something.
that's
And this year
crazy.
I was gonna have over 120, but then Corona hit. So now, if you want a Cats Bros hockey jersey, I got 120 downstairs.
Dude, I'm so jealous. I wish I could be a part of that. That sounds
Oh yeah,
absolutely
no,
amazing. It's so cool that you get to do that, just coaching, and because I did that too. We did it at for Downsview Beavers Association. We coached me and three of my friends. We coached their house league organization,
yeah.
and that was one of the greatest times ever. Just being in that environment and getting to coach those kids and helping them develop, absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I've seen just from that 3-on-3, like it's just 12 weeks, and I notice each kid got so much better, like
Mhm.
within those 12 weeks. Like that's where you get better. You
Yeah, and
progress a lot over there.
I think
More touches,
and
everything.
in the concept of coaching and just or running a camp, you and I have gone to quite a few different camps and coaching sessions and been on different teams. And you know in my uh, in my recollection of being a player, I've had so many bad coaches, and I could probably count on my hand the number of good coaches that I've ever had. I've probably had maybe one or two good coaches that really like reached out. I would say our high school rugby coach, uh he was really cool because he was just no nonsense. He treated us all fairly. He was very much invested in all of us being good at it. And then, yeah, that's about it, man. Like I
That's
can't
about
really,
it. Just the
yeah,
one guy.
just the one guy. I can't really think too much about anyone else. It's just jumping out of my mind right now. It's
Well,
just,
yeah, I think that goes with you remember the good ones. You don't
yeah,
unless the
exactly.
bad ones were really bad, but I mean the ones that were just there to to just do it, didn't do anything extra, didn't connect with the kids. I think
Yeah,
those aren't ones that you remember, right?
yeah.
That's what they
And
don't remember.
that's what's so important, man. Like I find that being a coach, there is an hour of practice that you get with them, at least in house league. Hold on, I'm gonna fix this light situation because there's just a weird shadow coming over my face right now.
Okay, yeah, no worries.
I'm gonna kind of disappear out of the screen, and maybe I'll edit this. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just be super lazy. There we go. Now the vision is a little bit better. Let's move this over here so you can see my face and my Bayern Munich jersey
You
we
know
just
what?
won today.
Actually, bring back the shadow, please.
Can't deal with
No,
this
just
ugliness.
messing.
But yeah, you think about it, and you have an hour of practice and then an hour of game time in house league in GTHL, and you have that hour to impact those children as much as possible and to leave a long lasting impression on them, in their lives as they play the game, whichever it is. And in that narrow moment of time, everything that you do is so important.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, what are some of the things you do with those kids, like just to make a difference?
To make a difference,
Yeah.
well, for me, I try to make it's all about the connections to me because you know if you're able to connect with a kid for in a coaching aspect, they'll
Mm-hmm.
work harder for you.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have a relationship with that kid,
Yeah.
they're not going to give you their all. you know they want to know that you're supporting them, you're in their corner, right? But yeah, so that's pretty much my first thing when I'm like taking on a new team. I want to make sure that I develop that rapport with each and every kid. I want not just between me and the kids too. It's
Yeah.
like within the whole team, right? You can't
Yeah.
have a dysfunctional team. Can't
Yeah.
have like little cliques around there, right?
Yeah, that's the first when we did our team, that was the first rule of the locker room. It wasn't we weren't going to let the team be divided. No one's allowed to say anything negative about another teammate in this locker room. We're not going to have that.
Well, yeah, it reminds me of what was that guy's name in the NHL? He just got kicked off his team on the Washington Leipzig. You heard about
Oh,
him?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The kid who was talking trash about his teammates and his teammate's wife and said some pretty nasty stuff, man. Like
Oh yeah, no, he said some nasty stuff, but I mean,
also admitted that he loves cocaine.
yeah, not a good
But
thing.
yeah, not a good thing to do on social media. And he's like, "Oh, well, my social media got hacked." Like, yeah, but you shouldn't be talking like that about your teammates in general. You
Well,
gotta,
that's what I'm saying. Like, even though he didn't say it directly to his teammates, and like maybe they wouldn't have found out. I don't know.
yeah.
I think like you can't
Eventually,
be like
eventually,
that. You can't talk about your teammates like that. That's your family. No,
yeah.
that's what I see it.
Teaching them the importance of that. I think every kid needs that, and that is, I think if you could do that when they're young, and teach them that importance in that team aspect, that's something that they'll carry with them for long term.
Yeah.
What was your first day? How nervous were you?
My first day coaching.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was beyond nervous. I don't know if I told you this before, but the way it worked out, I wanted to start coaching. So I emailed the league to, get a coaching gig. Even if
Uh-huh.
I had to start out as an assistant coach, I just wanted to be involved. And
Mm-hmm.
so I called them up. He's like, you know what? We have a head coach that we're trying to fill. it's already a week into the season.
Mm.
And so this convener walks me into the dressing room with like no heads up, puts me on the spot to make a speech to my whole new team. And I've never, like, to put things into perspective, like, I've talked to kids, like, but I mean, like a group of kids. Actually, no, at that point, I haven't talked to a group of kids because I didn't start teaching then. So
Yeah.
I haven't had to stand in front of anyone, give a speech in front of little kids, let alone all their parents were in the room too. Like, I mean, that was pretty intimidating. I was like 20 or 21 at the time, so it was a little intimidating. But after the first one, like, it's no big deal, you know?
Yeah, man. I remember the first time we showed up to the meeting before the house league started. So they had all the coaches in the room, and it's me and my friends. Like, I want to say we were the same age, like 2021. So we're 2021, and we're all born in the same year, and then one of them is the guy's little brother, and I think he's born maybe 2 or 3 years younger. So we're all sitting in this room, and I'm thinking to myself, look at, like, everybody here is significantly older than us. We're the young guys in the room. They probably think we're a joke and we're not going to be successful. And that just motivated me to be a better coach than the rest of them. Um, but I remember day one of meeting these kids, I was just thinking to myself, how am I going to show these kids that I know hockey?
Why,
Right.
you felt like an imposter in there?
Well, it's the first time I had coached before. I coached, and during my community service hours in high school, I went back to my elementary school and I coached our little basketball organization. It was like an after school program for basketball in the school. So I did some coaching there. But this is the first time that I'm ever coaching organization that is not just a bunch of kids that go to the same school that are meeting up after school. Like, these are kids that are traveling from all over, well, not too far over the city, but yeah, kids from, North York, Vaughan region, borderline Etobicoke, that are coming in to play it down to you. And a lot of these kids have not met each other before, and you have
How old
different
were they?
parents. So we did 8, 9 grade, I think 7, 8, 9.
Whoa. 7, 8, 9 all together?
Yeah, 7.
Whoa,
Yeah,
okay.
grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, I think, was our age bracket. It was like a weird bantam type thing.
Like, usually they'll combine 2 together, but 3, whoa, that's stretching.
Well, we were a small organization. I think
Yeah.
we were, yeah, I think we were 7, 8, 9. I want to say, if not just 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that first time I was just so nervous, and very lucky that we had a really good group of kids, and just the greatest feeling ever when the kids finally started to trust us as leaders. That was an amazing moment.
So how did they start trusting you guys? Like, how did you build that trust, right?
So for me, the important thing was not to be the coach who is constantly yelling.
Oh, okay. That's, yeah, you know what? I think we're on the same page. Probably coached very similar, even though we haven't coached together. But
I
yeah, I don't think I've yelled once.
I've yelled. No, I yelled at them once because there was one practice, and it was the practice leading into the playoffs. And I want to win. I know they want to win, but they don't realize it yet. We're running a drill. None of them are paying attention, and I just, like, lost it on them because I'm just like, get it together. Like, I'm not asking you to do anything complex. Just run the drill. But they're kids, and you forget that sometimes kids have a short attention span.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
yeah.
mean, yeah, kids at all age, like, you have to explain them, like, quite a few times the
Oh
drills,
yeah.
right? They,
All right, you're gonna do this, this, and this, and you're
well,
drill. Well, and it takes us a while. Like, when you're young, you see the drill, and you're just like, "What is he telling me to do?" And then as you get older, and you have coaches drawing up drills, you're just like, "Okay, yeah, I get it."
well, yeah. When I was a kid, like, think back to when you were a kid, like, when my coach was telling me the drills, for one, like, I want to be playing, like, I understand kids want to play with the puck too, right? They're
Yeah.
stick handling, so they're half listening. So I
Yeah.
do that. I did that sometimes, not all the time. Usually I'm one knee,
Yeah.
but yeah. And then what was I saying? What were we talking about? Fuck.
We're talking about getting the respect of the kids and how our coaching methods work.
Oh, I was gonna say, oh yeah, the board. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Because for me personally, I don't like when coaches bring out the board
Oh,
because,
what? I
well,
bring
like,
up the board all the time.
well, maybe you're good with the board. I don't think
Yeah.
everyone's good with the board,
Okay.
because I had coaches that bring out the board
Uh-huh.
and they just draw so fast and there's so many different lines and they're all overlapping, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, but where do I go? Like, I'm lost at the end of the day. 'Cause
I get that
maybe it
feeling.
makes sense in their head, but they didn't really communicate
One
it
thing that I always did
well.
too is when I brought out the board a lot of the time in practice is I took a knee with them.
Yeah.
So I brought it in as a huddle. The biggest thing is these are still people. They're children, but they're still people. And they may not know it as much like cognitively, but they're still looking to be respected. Right? The same
Yeah.
way as you as an adult want to be respected, whether it's by your peers or your superiors. Um, it's the same thing as children. They just may not be able to articulate it the same way that we can. But that was a very big thing. Just speaking to them with respect, just showing them that I'm not going to be the type of coach to yell at them. I'm going to be the type of coach to say, hey, what do you guys want to work on today in practice as a group? Giving them a little bit of control of how their development's going to look like, and then also being a facilitator for what they're trying to work on. So the more we did that and just kind of developed that kind of bond, as opposed to the coach that's going to come in, make you skate, yell at you to do the drill, yell at you when you're doing the drill wrong, and not pull you aside and show you how to do the drill better. I didn't want anything to do
Well,
with that.
yeah, you know what? I think that reminds me of, like, some of my bad coaches
Yeah,
when I was
man.
growing up, and I'm like, so we're running a drill that involves passing. I remember this one specific drill. It was a very simple drill, but
Yeah.
it was just to warm up our passing.
Yeah.
And we would like sometimes miss the pass. But I mean, isn't a practice a place to make like, I feel like some coaches feel like mistakes shouldn't happen.
At all.
Hockey is a game of mistakes.
Not
You have
just
to
hockey,
embrace you
every
have to
sport you make
embrace the
mistakes.
mistakes. If you're not making mistakes in practice, you're not getting better because
Yeah.
you're not pushing yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So I had coaches that when we made mistakes, it wasn't like, okay, we got to keep practicing this. It was like, you made that mistake. Now we're going to do laps and upon
Yeah.
laps upon laps. And are you going to
Yeah.
get better when, like, I understand, like, make them do laps when they're not listening. Sure.
Yeah. You
But
gotta sometimes
mistakes are good.
just, yeah, break it down. I remember having discussions with our goalie at one point, and he was so nervous as far as playing the puck goes. So every single day in practice, I'd make him play the puck.
Oh,
It's like, oh,
yeah.
I don't want to. Yeah, he's like, oh, I don't want to play the puck. Go out there, play the puck. He's like, oh, what? I'm like, it's practice. If you're gonna make a mistake now.
Yeah.
And over time, they just get more and more confident in what they're doing. And then not just that, but when you sit with them and then you say, okay, this is what you're doing, and then if you go like this and move this way, or if you find your body over here, or if you extend your stick and talk about the little points, then they get it, right? I've become very much into yoga during the quarantine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Keeps me centered. But one of the things that I've noticed is that when you're doing yoga, good yoga instructors, what they do is they tell you about all the little pieces that you can do to perfect the pose, right? So if you're doing a pose and they say, okay, lift up your leg and you're unbalanced, well, they'll tell you what you want to do at this point to be steady in your balance is you want to stiffen up that leg, For example, you're what they call an airplane pose, right? So to be balanced on
Oh
one
yeah.
leg, you got to stiffen up that one leg, right? That you're balancing on. To really, you got to keep your back tight and your shoulders tight and core engaged so that you have stability. And as you bring out that back leg, if you once again engage through the quads and the hamstring to keep that stable, you'll find yourself in a really stable position, as opposed to just telling someone to be, hey, stand like that. And the same
Go
thing
on one leg. Yeah.
yeah, the same approach to coaching, especially with the kids. Like, break it down to them. Don't just tell them what to do. Encourage them to engage.
Well, yeah, you have to be specific as to the
Yeah,
little things that.
engage their minds. Engage their minds.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for, right?
Yeah.
So many bad coaches out there that just their approach to being a leader in a dressing room is just yell at you, and it's
Oh
not
yeah.
productive. Like, I can easily tell you all my coaches do that. It's just hard to remember the good ones because they're few and far apart.
Well, I can tell you that when I've had coaches like that, me and probably the rest of my team, we're getting screamed at when we win. We're getting screamed at when we lose.
Yeah.
Just get tuned out.
Oh,
Like, they're not gonna
absolutely.
hear you anymore.
Well, and so,
Like,
and that was a big part of.
does that work? No.
No, it doesn't. That was a
Yeah.
big part of my pregame speech. My pregame speech was always calm.
Yeah.
My pregame speech is always calm. I highlight, this is what you got to do today. This is what we're working on, and whatever game plan. Even when I call timeouts, unless it's kind of loud, because they play music in the timeout sometimes, so you just got to get a little bit loud so they can actually hear you.
Yeah.
But as far as just yelling at them, it doesn't work.
No,
It's so much more effective to have one-on-ones, especially in game.
Well, yeah, that's what I do. Even behind the bench, sometimes I'll be honest, like I'll be, screaming out on the ace, but I try to pick that up the moment I do it, because I don't think they can't even hear me when they're on the ace.
Absolutely, they cannot.
So there's no point of
because you can't hear them,
and you'll get tuned out too, right?
Yeah.
So
on face-offs, I'll yell at them. On face-offs.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So if I see someone in a position that I don't want them to, I'll yell at them, and I'll just try to tell them move this way or move that way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But just to get their attention.
Yeah.
Having some weird lighting thing going on. Just the lighting is just not great over here. For some reason, I look red.
What's happened?
I look red. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
What a weird thing to obsess over. But yeah, it's so important to be a good mentor to these kids while you're there. Because what you think about it this way: we're in our mid 20s, late 20s.
Yeah,
late 20s,
late 20s, I guess. Yeah.
We're in our late 20s, and we still have lasting memories over some of our bad coaches. So now we can say we can change that and turn it around, because you're more than just a coach. You're more than just a person that's telling them to do
then again, my bad version of a coach, I don't even think that hits the surface of what a bad coach is. Like, that was just one of my bad coaches, but
I think there's worse.
There's a lot worse.
We had,
which is sad, because it's all because it's like the coaches are living through their kids, and they just want that win, right?
Oh my God!
For me personally, I want to win. Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Do I really care if I lose? No.
Yeah, I do. I do.
No,
I care if I lose.
I do care, but what's the most important thing for your team? What at the beginning of the year, what's the most important goal for you with your team?
For my team is that they learn how to play together. Is that every single day they can go out there and play hard and feel that whether they win or they lose, they did a good job. They gave the effort that they needed to. And if they lose, you got to ask yourself, did I do the best I could, or did I take a day off today? And as long as you can keep that in mind, you've maintained the integrity of the game by going out there and just working hard. That's all I ask. Work hard.
Yeah, I tell my kids the same thing. As long as you come back in that room and you can say you worked your butt off, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah. That's the
And
most
like
important thing.
you were a team player too. Like you're not hogging the puck, right? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I think I've had a couple discussions with kids about that, about hogging the puck and just, ice time and stuff like that. Um, it's so weird, dude. I can't speak for other coaches, but being a hockey coach in Canada at the minor level is so weird. So weird.
Why is that?
Because a lot of parents think they have the next Wayne Gretzky, Sidney Crosby, Connor
Oh, okay.
McDavid.
Yeah,
Like,
you know what? I wonder if that would be the same in the States.
I don't know. Maybe,
Like
maybe.
over here, it's the Canadian dream. Like you guys have your American dream. This is our Canadian
I'm gonna.
play in the NHL one
This
day.
is not better. This is not better. Maybe it's the light up top that's giving me a weird whatever. Stop obsessing over the lighting.
Now, yeah, all I can think
Well,
about right
you
now
have
is Bears
great.
days.
You have no. It's very sunny where you are, and it's not as sunny here. Plus, you have great lighting in the room just to begin with. I don't. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, dude, I got my. There you go, Downsview Hockey Club.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, man, Downsview Hockey Club.
Oh, nice.
Um,
You got to
yeah,
take that Boston Bruins down though.
there's no Boston Bruins stuff behind me.
Oh, that's the Downsview one? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Well,
uh,
using a Bruins logo, I don't know about that.
but yeah, it's so important, man, just to teach them about hard work and teach them about teamwork and teach them about, you know, working with each other to get better.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'll tell you that I had to, this past year, uh, I was coaching minor Adam. And
Mhm.
so it's the first year where it's not buzzer shifts. So it's changing on the fly.
That is,
And
yeah.
so my first goal, because I know when I was playing as a kid, unless like kids will just stay on the ice for like 2 minutes. And I'm
Yeah,
like, meanwhile, I go out there, I give it my all, I come right to the bench. And that's the way it
yeah,
should be.
yeah,
Right. So I want to make sure at least all of the kids that I coach are in check, short shifts, but
yeah.
as soon as they come off the ice, they're complaining a little bit, sometimes that their shift's too short.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think what the kids don't realize is that if you change your shifts more regularly, you get better output because you're
yeah,
not as tired and fatigued. You get better rest. So I don't think they understand that at that point in time that, hey, if you take a 2 minute shift, you're going to gas yourself and you're going to be back out there soon, but you haven't had the opportunity
yeah,
to like recoup.
yeah.
Um,
But one thing that I did for the Zoom training that I like is that, I asked the kids, how long do you want your shifts to be?
mhm.
The first kid was like a minute long. I'm like, okay, all workouts today, we're doing it a minute long, 30-second break in between. And, they were dog tired. So then the next
That's a
day
great way.
I asked them how long they want their shift to be today. 45 seconds. You know what? It was still too long for them. Today, Zoom, they changed it to 30 seconds.
You know what? That's a great tactic for them to realize the importance
Oh,
of
yeah.
timing. That's
100%.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's so important for us to, you know, when we're coaching them to give them the control. Right? Put the ball in their court, let them decide what they want, and you be a facilitator for them to their success.
Yeah.
And it's so rewarding. I remember this one kid. I believe this was in our first year, and I will 100% to this day. And sorry for every other kid that I've ever coached, but the first year that I coached was the greatest year ever. It was the greatest year ever. I had the best group of kids. Not saying that the other years were bad, but this particular year was amazing. And I remember one kid on our team when he came into the season couldn't skate. Well, he couldn't skate. He
Wait,
could
this is
barely skate.
select or house league?
It was house league.
Oh, okay.
House league. Yeah, he couldn't
Oh, you're
skate.
doing select too, no?
No. I think we were going to do select, but then I ended up moving.
That's why I was like, he can't skate and he's in select.
No.
Yeah, okay.
We
Sorry, go on. So he couldn't skate?
he couldn't really skate. and worked with him so hard on his skating, just showing him meticulous parts of power skating that is going to help him be better. And he worked so hard in our practice. And I got to believe that he was also working hard out on his own time with some of the things that we taught him.
Yeah.
And to just see him every single day get better. And this is why I say it's so important to have the rest of the team invested in the success of everyone else, because I remember the day that he scored his first goal, and I think we won the game on his goal. I can't remember, but the entire team was so happy for him
Oh
when he
yeah.
scored his first goal. First goal playing hockey, because he had played hockey before. But
That's a good group right there, you know, if everyone's happy about that, right?
yeah,
They're celebrating as if they scored the goal,
oh
probably.
my God, it was the greatest team I ever had. And no offense to any other team that I have had or will coach in the future. We don't know. But to see him grow, and Jordan, when I tell you, this kid scored a hat trick in the playoffs.
Oh wow, a hat trick.
This kid went from not being
So
able
he's
to
quite the
score
sniper by the end of the season.
by the end of the season.
Are you taking credit for that?
No, I'm not taking credit for it. I'm not taking credit for. You know what? The only thing that I will take credit for is putting in an environment where he felt confident that he can grow, and I'll give him all the credit for doing the work that he needed to do to get to where he needed to be. But Michael was his name. I'm not gonna give a last name, but his name was Michael. And to see him grow, and he still plays hockey today, and he's gotten a lot better at it. Plays consistently, but it was such a great feeling, because not only did I help him, but his teammates helped him, and we all felt amazing. Like, dude, if you had told me at the beginning of the season that Michael was going to score a hat trick in the playoffs, I would have never believed it, because of where he was skill wise, but because I never treated him as though he couldn't, he was able to get there. And that's something that coaches do, man. Like, if they
Yeah.
don't see the potential in you as a player, they don't give you the time of day. I've been to camps where that happened. I've been to
Yeah.
camps where you walk in there and coaches don't think that you're a good player. So the good players that are already there get more attention.
Yeah. It yeah, for me that's not how I see it, because I tell my kids when I was coaching select this year, but at the tryout I had like 40 kids or something
Oh
crazy
my
like that.
God.
I told them, like, I don't choose based on skill. I choose based on effort, because that's what win games, in my
Yeah.
opinion, right? Well, at least the big games,
Yeah.
right? You need that guy that's just a dog that just goes all out all game long. And, I picked quite a few people, not quite a few, but like a few kids that maybe some people would roll their eyes at and be like,
Yeah. What's he doing?
but I mean, if you look at it in the long run, like these kids were a core piece of our team. Like
Yeah.
they were the guys that were the hardest working. They were always positive, but like not only working hard in games, they are the hardest workers in practice, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's and that's why, once again, my first team, man, every single one of those kids worked very hard, and they all got better, and they all had a great bond by the end of the season. And it's the ones that you don't expect sometimes, right? You're looking at one kid and you're just like, who am I? There was one kid that we had that I didn't really. He could play and he could skate, but I didn't expect him to have the impact that he would throughout the season in just winning faceoffs. Like, this kid would just go out there, win a faceoff. Like, go out there, I need a faceoff win.
Oh man, you had like face-off specialist there, eh?
Yeah,
You got your
and
Jason Spezza.
and they surprise you, man. And the important part there is just not allowing you to look at someone and say, all right, I believe this is what you're going to be good at, and just limiting them to that and allowing them to bloom into more, because they all have the potential. They're 12, 13, 14 years old. They have the potential to do so much.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I heard, some other kids, not on my team, but I heard like some other coaches and select, uh, they or different divisions, they would tell some of their defense, because they weren't the greatest skaters, to just stand in front of the net the entire game. Like, I mean, what are you
Yeah.
trying to achieve by doing that? First of all,
And
you're telling this kid he's not good enough to play on the rest of the ice, right?
yeah,
He's only confined to the front of the net.
yeah.
And like, how is that fun for him? How is he getting better? Like, he's not getting better like that.
Dude, I used to, I
And his
used
confidence
to,
is out the window.
I used to make all my defensemen jump into the play and handle the puck. I
Yeah.
used to make them all do it. No matter what, you have to do it, because at some point it's going to, like, you can't just be sitting back there on the line.
Well, that's the new type of defenseman, you got to be a puck moving defenseman. Like, I don't know if you've seen,
Dude,
what's his name?
I
Oh,
haven't watched a lot of
you
hockey.
haven't watched, but like, have you seen Kill McCarr at all? Like, oh man,
No,
that
no.
guy is like smooth. He's
I
just like I love defense that are able to like walk the line and be just so creative.
I have not watched hockey in such a long
You
time.
gotta get back on it. Don't worry, hockey's coming back in a month.
This is true. This is true. There, you know what? I will say this. So, you remember my growth as a player, and
Oh yeah, you couldn't skate, and then 2 years later, you're better than me.
uh, I just remember, a lot of things going really weird towards the end. Right. So there was a juvenile AAA that I went to go train with that team. And, I'm training regularly with this team. And then all of a sudden, the coach for the team just up and vanishes, and the team just kind of falls apart. So that kind of died on me. And then I remember trying out for our university team, and not making it there, and then finding out that the guy that I lost out on one of the guys that I lost out on a position to was good friends with the coach, or his
Oh,
coach
that's
was
what
good
it
friends
is,
with the
eh?
coach.
Yeah.
And you know going into that practice and giving it everything that I could, and showing that you saw me last year and here I am this year, and the gap that I have closed in 1 year is
You're
ridiculous.
talking about your second tryout at York?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I was just thinking in my head, like, the first one, like, you were good, but I mean, the second one, I think that was like the peak that I've seen you at. Like, like, in my opinion, definitely should have been on that team. You're a big guy that has speed, and you had a ripper of a shot. Like, oh man, like you
um,
you were pretty good.
and then the third one, there was the third one where I was like, the third one was the one that you didn't show up to, I don't think.
Uh, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't
Did I
remember.
not? Okay.
I don't know, but
I
I
know I went
remember.
to two.
Yeah, I remember the other one that I went to, and I remember just being there, and um, I remember actually having an impact during the tryout. Like, I remember actually being in control of like what I wanted to do, what I wanted to create, being in situations that I wanted to be in, and just still not making it. And it was a really cool moment where the coach who used to work for the Leafs and their coaching staff,
Oh yeah.
well, yeah, he pulled me aside and at the end of the tryout, and he said, you're definitely have the capacity to play on this team, but I don't need another bottom six forward. What I'm looking for is, you know, a top six guy. And at that moment in time, it was like, that was what I was trying to be. I was trying to be like a third line guy who could be very smart defensively. And
Yeah, we were getting the cycles going.
yeah, very good on the puck, very good in certain situations, very strong. Um, and I remember that. And at the end of it, just not being able to watch hockey because it was so crushing. It was so crushing to work so hard for something that you should have been given an opportunity to at least grow. But then I could say that for so many other people. But, for the people who were at that practice, who came back multiple years, nobody grew like I did. And
Yeah.
that's not to pump my own tires, but, you would hope that's something that a coach would notice. And then to not be able to accomplish that, it's heartbreaking. Like, people don't talk about that in sports psychology, which is how to deal with rejection.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Well, I mean, that's something that, your coaches, after every, that's why losing is good in hockey, like
yeah,
it should
losing
help
in
you do that.
general, it helps you understand what you did, what happened, what went wrong, and how you can change it to win the next time.
Yeah.
But the coach ended up getting fired afterwards. Like, the
Oh
first
yeah,
coach,
that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
yeah,
I recalled.
he got fired for illegal recruitment.
Yeah.
He got fired for illegal recruitment. So when I heard that, it was just like, oh my God, not only did I not make this team, but I made this team because you illegally recruited players.
Yeah.
Um, but it was dude, I had a lot of fun just working so hard on that. And, you know, I joke around with people today and I say to them, someone asked me, like, how good of a hockey player were you? And I said, well, if you put me in a preseason NHL game and you split the teams into two squads, and I play in the team that has to go play in the middle of nowhere just to give that town a little bit of action, I might score a goal. Not in the main team that's playing at like the home arena, but like, it's maybe for a Massachusetts reference, if I'm playing for the Bruins and in a preseason game and you put me out in like the middle of like Springfield to go play in a preseason game, but the regular team's still in Boston with like Bergeron, Chara, Marchand, and I'm playing with like, still good guys, but the end of the squad, I might
Yeah.
I might get me a goal.
Well, you know what? If John Scott can get a goal in the NHL, I have no doubt that you can.
Not anymore, man. Not anymore. I could barely run.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm so out of shape.
But
Uh,
when's the last time you played hockey?
I want to say October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been
So it's
quite
been a
some
little
time.
bit.
Like, if there was a situation where I had a month to prepare for a hockey season, maybe I can get into some really good shape. And that's like month of preparing for just that. But yeah, there's, that end to hockey was like so good for me because it really made me appreciate. And I said this before on one of my prior podcasts, which was I was so miserable about the sport at first, but afterwards, I learned to appreciate what I had accomplished and thank myself for it. And then once I was able to do that, it allowed me to get into a position where I could actually go out there and play the game again. I still don't watch it just because
Well, I mean, you're talking about like the rejection from the team. That's why.
yeah. I did not take that well.
Well, okay. So going off of that, because that was the thing the only aspect of coaching select that I was not looking forward to was having to cut kids. And you know
Oh,
what? That was, tough. How do you do that, right? So like
constructively. Like, how do you do it
I
constructively?
yeah, I try to, give them a point to work on, and make sure that their spirit's still up a little bit, tell them that they did great and, they worked hard and I hope to see them back next year, right? But what would you say is the best way to break that and like break the news that, you didn't make the team so that you aren't feeling rejected like you are?
Well, that's tough. My sense of rejection came from the fact that I had worked so hard for something and putting everything and all my resources into it, you know, because you
Well,
remember.
I mean, I would hope that every kid that goes to Trout is giving it their all, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like you're saying, like it was more than that one practice. It's like your
Yeah.
whole life leading up.
For me, yeah. So it's like, you take you take some, for me it's a little bit different because I took like I was doing, I was waking up at 6 a.m. to haul my shit to the arena and, leave it there to then go to the gym beside it to work out. And after I finish working out, go back to the arena to get on the ice to train. After I finish training, go back to the gym to work out again, go home, rest, meet up with you sometimes, play hockey in the evening, and then
Oh yeah, the midnight
men's league.
shinny. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also play men's league throughout the week. So I was just working out all the time. I had never been in greater shape in my life because
I know that was my peak physical shape too.
yeah, because we were training for, oh my God, we need to get back to that. Um, but to then approach someone else and talk to them about the rejection, I guess what I would do is help them highlight exactly what it is. I would try to have one-on-ones with as many kids as possible. So 40 kids, I can only pick 26. Then, the 14 that are remaining, then I'm going to talk to them and I'm going to say, okay, then, this is what you could work on. This is why. And, if you want to come back next year and fight for a spot on this team, I think if you work on these things, then, it's going to be a tougher decision for me to choose someone else over you. So just encouraging them that they're not bad hockey players. It's just that they're not there yet. And that constructiveness could help them progress as a player, because at this point in their life, you don't know who they're going to be. And you never want them to look back at us and be like, well, that one coach that I had didn't really encourage me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
So,
yeah, you can't just some coaches aren't too good with that, I don't think, though. Like they sugarcoat it a little bit too much. And
yeah.
like I think it's better, like, as hard as it is, to just like be honest with what they need to work on, as opposed to like, you did great and we just went another way, you know.
Yeah.
How does that help you? That leaves you hanging.
Well, and it comes back to what I was saying earlier, is that even though they're kids, just as though we as adults are looking for respect, they are too. They
Yeah.
just don't know how to articulate it the same way. Right? We're as adults, so when someone disrespects us, we get angry and we demand that respect. They as kids don't know how to do that. At
Yeah.
least most of them don't. They learn that in time. Um, so you got to show the respect for the kids and what they're doing and what they're trying to accomplish, because you don't want to diminish or make them feel bad about what they're doing right now. Make them feel like they're a bad player, because you don't want to ruin the sport for them.
No, yeah.
Have you how what's the best you've ever done as a team? Have you guys played in a championship game yet?
For the select team that I just coached, we were in a tournament championship game.
Okay. How'd that
So
go?
that's the best I've ever done. You know what? It was a great game. I don't know. I haven't had too many 0-0 games going down to the final few minutes. Like, it was an intense game. Everyone was on the edge of their seat, and our goalie was on his head. He knew some players on the other team.
Uh-huh.
So that's like part of the reason why he's like, I want this win even more, because I know people on the other team.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
like they outshot us like quite a bit, I think, but he
Did you
stood
guys
on his
win?
head and he got in their head. No, we lost 1-0.
Oh no.
But it was a good game.
How was the dressing room after that?
They were very disappointed that they didn't get it, but like I said before, if they gave it their all, that's all that matters, right? And in that game, that's what everyone did.
Dude,
You
I
know, we
remember in the
we lay it all out there.
in the 4 years we coached at Downsview, I think we had the best record in the league twice. And I want to say we went to the championship 3 times. I want to say 3 times or 2 times. I think one year in our last year we went to the championship. I remember that one. But we
You
never
guys win?
won.
Oh
No, we
no.
never won. I the first year they should have given us coach of the year every year. No one else deserved it. Uh, but I remember the first year that we made it to the championship, and that may have also been the first. Yeah, that may have also been the first year. Just to see those kids work so hard to get to that final game, and then when they lost, just how heartbroken they were, man.
Oh yeah.
And
Well, that just goes to show how hard they worked, right? Like,
yeah,
I have another story for that.
well, I didn't think that I would be impacted as much equally as they were, right? So I figured, okay, win or lose, it's not gonna bother me. And then when we lost, oh my gosh, I felt so bad. Like I felt like I was on that ice with them and I lost. And I'm thinking to myself, what could I have done better?
Well, yeah, everyone should be reflecting as to what they could do better, right?
Yeah,
That's what after each loss, I'm thinking what I could do better, right? I don't put that on
absolutely.
just them, right?
I'm sitting down there thinking, like, what could I have done better? Like, could I have given a better pregame speech? Could I called a better timeout? I'm reckless with my timeouts. I don't care if I feel as though if we start the game off and we're not playing in the first period the way that I want us to be playing, I'll call a
I as long as you're not up like 6-0 when you call that timeout, go for
timeout. I've done it. I've called a timeout in the first period before.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's pretty good. You gotta if you recognize that early
Yeah.
on.
I saw us playing in a way that I did not like. I just called the timeout. First period. Don't like it. Stop this. Change it up.
Yeah, no,
And it
that's good.
worked. What were you going to say about that losing experience?
Oh, because talking about losing, I just remembered another story. I coached a house league team this year too. And my main goal, right, is to get the kids to connect, make sure that their like effort is
Mhm.
every practice, every game, and that they're making friends there. They're having fun, right?
Yeah,
Because
you
it's
got to
all
have.
about,
Yeah.
you know, giving them, teaching them, and having love for the game, right? So before this playoff game, I go all out. I came in with my beard dyed red because our team was the Canadians. We had red jerseys,
Uh-huh.
and and I got the whole team. I brought all these spray on dyes. Our
Yeah.
whole team dyed their hair red, and I even got all our coaches and even some
Wow.
parents to dye their hair red, and a few parents did their beard. Like this
Yeah.
one father had this white beard, and he dyed it red. It was awesome. Like it was just
Yeah.
great. Like we really were a great team, and that's memories right there.
Well,
And
it's any sport that you play has the power to create a great community of kids and parents
yeah,
and you know, if you do it right, for anyone who is listening to this and is hearing what we're talking about, what we're really trying to say is when you're a coach, you have so much influence over your community.
yeah,
And that immediate community, you have so much influence over it. Um, there's a coach, his name's, and I'm gonna butcher this, John Gooden. He's a basketball coach in the NCAA.
oh, I think Goodwin. I think.
Goodwin.
Yeah.
I've read, which is so embarrassing because I've read his book and I quote it,
Oh,
but I never remember
yeah.
his name. But he also talks about how important it is to be good people
Yeah,
before we can be good athletes. Before we can be good athletes, we need to be good people. We need to be good members of our community, and we need to value our community. We need to value the people that come to work with us every single day, who
yeah,
put in the same effort as we do every single day for success, and treat those people with respect. Treat ourselves with respect. In order to create a good environment, because without a good environment, you cannot have growth. So if you're a coach and you're not, and it's not just sports. I think if you're a coach in any, you know, industry or you're a leader, if you don't have an environment that is positive and people feel comfortable and confident in themselves, then you won't get the results that you need. And you're not
Yeah.
making people feel like they can learn.
Yeah. That's the main thing I try to bring in, to my teams, be positive and make it welcoming. Like, I try to, high five each kid,
Oh
because
yeah.
they're little, right? And I read, in school, I read this article and it was like physical contact increase, like it makes sense. Any physical contact you can have
Mm-hmm.
increases like your connection to that person,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this study was like done on servers, like in the serving profession.
Yeah.
So it had some servers go around, tap a customer's shoulder, and then
Yeah.
the same server did the same thing, but without any contact. And it was proven that when she did that, tips were a lot higher, right?
'Cause I don't want these servers touching me.
Hey, you wouldn't tip them more? But no, so that's what I try to do. But going back to that one loss, it was the
Yeah.
funniest thing because we had our red all over our whole team, our whole parents, and we were going up against the number one team in the semifinals. We were like,
Wow.
I don't know, the sixth or fifth seed, something like that.
Yeah,
And
it's amazing. I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story about when I was playing basketball in high school and probably what um I'm a good basketball player or a decent one at least. And what really hurt me in my first year of playing basketball, true ass story, is that the team that I played on, they made fun of me. They made fun of me for multiple reasons. Maybe it was my coordination, a little bit of lankiness. Maybe that, when I played, I was inconsistent, but, it doesn't really matter.
wait, how did they make fun of you though?
Oh, man. They said so many terrible things to me when I was playing basketball in high school. Uh, and to the point that throughout the season,
Is that in front of the coach too?
um, yes and no. Like, yes, actually in front of our assistant coach.
And they don't say anything?
No, because our assistant coach joined in one time. Like, yeah, our
Wow.
assistant coach joined in the ridicule to the extent that I like slowly felt less and less comfortable going to practice, to the extent that one day I skipped practice and just went to go partake in a charity basketball game. Like, there was a charity basketball game going on the same day that we had practice. So I skipped practice to go to it because I just wanted to play basketball. All I wanted to do is I just wanted to play basketball. I wanted to have fun, learn, get better, learn plays, learn, just develop. And that high school basketball team became such a toxic environment for me as an individual that I stopped going to practice. Or even when I was at practice, I stopped giving it my all.
Well,
And I
yeah.
and I knew that I was better than players on the team. I knew that I was more talented than they were. But because they kept on going to practice and they kept on getting touches and they were, constantly playing, constantly in rotation, their skills continued to develop and mine either plateaued or didn't go anywhere. Even some of them regressed. And I remember how terrible that was for me in the sport, because here I am in this environment and nobody believes in me and no one's showing. And I guess the stupid thing that I didn't do at the time was approach the head coach, who was a teacher at the school, and say, hey, this is what my teammates are doing to me. So if you've been wondering why I've been absent-minded at practice, if you're wondering why I'm not giving it my all in practice and why you're not putting me in the game, it's because my teammates have not created an environment for me to feel comfortable. Right. And
Do you think that's solely on your teammates, or like, I don't know, I think like, isn't the head coach, even though he wasn't around when that happened, right? At least that's the way I see it. Like, I
well,
mean, maybe
but
he should be like, where was this, in the locker room or at practice? Like,
locker room, practice, throughout the school day, because you're thinking to yourself, you're on this basketball team with all these guys, so you're probably going to be friends with them at school, and you're going to develop a relationship with them, and you don't. Right. So unfortunately, not having that relationship with my teammates definitely affected how I was as a player, and also probably stunted my development and my commitment to being on the team. So, it's important for all coaches to realize when that's happening in your dressing room. Right? You gotta know what's happening in your dressing room. The team needs to be comfortable approaching you to tell you what their issues are, personal and, professional.
So is that why, like, I mean, is that part of the reason why you didn't go up to him, because you didn't feel that sense of comfort
Yeah,
with them?
I just didn't feel as though anybody cared at that particular moment in time, but I was also 14. So what did I know? Right.
Yeah.
14 is a really strange age. Once again, young, don't know that you want respect as a young person, but don't know how to articulate that respect. And you don't know who's going to listen, and you don't know what their response is going to be. So it makes it very different in how you approach it.
Yeah.
Probably should have been on that basketball team for 4 years. Probably should have been an important contributor to that basketball team in 4 years. The most satisfying moment was in my second year of coming back. This is a real goddamn story. I'm spitting real stories. So I come back for grade 10.
I'm curious to hear it. It's either a really good story or a really bad story.
So in grade 10, I come back. It's my second year on this team. And this is when I quit the basketball team and stopped playing basketball. My grandmother died the week that school started. Either a week or two into school, or maybe the week before. I can't remember the specific timeline. But we left the country for about a week, 2 weeks to go to my grandmother's funeral. And then when I came, before I left, I let the coach know, hey, I'm going to my grandmother's funeral, so I'm not going to be able to be at the tryout. But obviously, as soon as I get back, I'm going to join in and give it my all. So I get back, we're a couple weeks in. I've missed the first couple tryouts, but they're still doing the tryouts, and they have a couple. They're down to the last few cuts. And not the assistant coach, not the head coach, but the assistant coach comes up to me, and he says to me, no kidding, that he thinks that I feel as though I'm too good for the team and too good for the tryout, and that I'm not that good of a player, and I have to work just as hard as everybody else to be on this team. And I'm here thinking, like, dude, I just came back from burying my grandmother. Ease off.
Wait, so he said that he feels that you think that you're better than everyone else?
Because I didn't feel as though I needed to show up to tryouts.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
He didn't start with, hey, Richard, why didn't you show up to the trout?
No, he started, and then I remember that reaction. I went up to I'm like, I quit. I'm not playing for this team. I'm not going through. It was a realization at that moment that I was not going to go through another year of ridicule by this particular coach and not having the respect of my teammates because of his actions. And I just wasn't going to sit through that. But it was a great feeling because we had a basketball class at our high school. Yeah. And I was in it as a grade 10, and there were other grade 11s in that class because it was a grade 11 course. And I remember going to work on those guys who were on the senior basketball team and making them look bad. Considering that I haven't been playing basketball, you guys are on the team practicing, and I'm making you guys look bad in this class.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So that was a little bit of a great ending, but at that moment in time, I just kind of said to myself, I will never play basketball for this high school.
As you probably should, because if he doesn't value you, then go somewhere where you're valued. No?
Yeah. And once again, and like we're saying, we've said this once before, and I'll probably say it again, is young coaches, young leaders, or leaders in general, respect the people that you are coaching, that you are a
Yeah.
mentor for, because you don't know how your words, your actions are going to manifest in and I was young, dude. I was 14. I didn't know what to do with that
Yeah.
information. Now, if I have a leader who's talking shit, I will definitely speak up, but I didn't know to do that.
Yeah. But I
Right.
think like also, I don't know why that coach specifically, why is he jumping to conclusion? Why not try to understand why you didn't show up to practice? Like my first thing wouldn't be to all of a sudden assume that you think that you're better than everyone else.
Yeah.
I would think like something's up. What's wrong? Why isn't Richard that's how I would view it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like you and I are a different, like we're a different generation. We've experienced the same type of, like we've experienced shitty coaches, and now we've thought to ourselves, we don't want to be those guys. We want to be better
Yeah.
than the people who have been bad to us. And I think that's like a thing, something that we should all as people aspire to, be better than your parents. Not to say that you have bad parents,
No,
but
well, I think, yeah, everyone
yeah,
should be like that.
like if
You always want to be better.
you
Don't
want to
just
be
be
better. If you
content.
had, even if you had the greatest of parents, you want to be a little bit better. If you had terrible parents, you want to be better. If you've had great coaches or good, you know what I mean? No matter what it is, you want to be better than they were,
Yeah.
and that competitive edge, um, to just do good.
Yeah.
And that's like those that interaction may be the biggest thing that contributes to how I am as a coach today. Biggest thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because
Well,
to
how did that change you then? Like, how
well,
did that
have a
affect you?
coach insult you in front of your team members, the way that happened, it was the most demoralizing moment of my life. Well, no, and there's been others, but that was so bad at the age of 14. And I'm thinking to myself, how do I come back from this? Because he's disrespected me in front of my teammates. Right. So now my teammates don't respect me. You've shown that you don't respect me. I now don't have any way to be on this team and feel like I belong here because my teammates disrespect me in practice.
Yeah.
My teammates treat me poorly. And that should never happen in a locker room. We're all here together to accomplish one goal. So if you see me and I'm not doing well, you shouldn't be talking shit to me. You should be saying, oh man, how can I help him be better?
Yeah. That's
And
exactly how it should be. Yeah.
dude, I took everything from that one experience playing high school basketball and the first opportunity that I got to coach a team. I said, I will never, ever allow that to happen in my locker room.
Well, that's why I think, bad experiences are bad, but in a sense, they're really good because you learn so much from it.
Yeah.
Like this one, right?
Yeah. It definitely hindered my basketball career, but
Could you have gone pro?
no. No.
I mean,
Maybe I
you're a
put,
tall guy, but you
yeah, but
might
I'm
be a
only
little
six
bit
three.
short. Oh, you're
Only
6'3"?
6'3". Yeah, I'm only
Okay.
6'3".
I thought you were 6'2" for a sec.
No, I'm 6'3". But like 6'3" is tall hockey wise, but it's
Not tall
short.
basketball,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's short basketball wise. Fuck, what was I saying? But yeah, I think I was saying that, you know, that negative experience stopped me from playing basketball at that very moment and forced me to go out and try to experience new sports and try to be good at different things.
So you wouldn't have played hockey maybe if you kept playing.
Yeah, that's actually a real
So
possibility.
I'm happy that you had that bad coach.
Well, I mean, realistically speaking, let's say I play 4 years
You
of
couldn't have played the
basketball.
greatest sport in the world if you didn't have that bad coach.
I disagree with that being the greatest sport. I still don't think hockey is the greatest sport in the world.
Oh, 100% it is.
You know what my big reason why I don't think hockey is the greatest sport in the world
Why?
is because of the cost to play.
Oh, okay. No, I totally agree with. I hate how expensive it is.
because I've mentioned this so many times when people say, "Oh, this guy's the greatest hockey player," like people will say,
If everyone can't play it, how can you say he's the
"Yeah,
greatest? Yeah.
how is Wayne Gretzky the greatest player ever? How is Ovechkin one of the greatest players ever? How is you know what I mean? Like these guys who are considered one of the greatest, how are they the greatest when not everyone can afford to play?"
Yeah. I
Right.
know. That's why, I
That's my biggest thing with hockey. And that's why, not to make this all race related, considering what we're going on in the world, but that's why majority of hockey players are not minorities. At
well,
least the
yeah.
yeah,
You
at
got
least
to
the
have a
ones.
lot of money to pay for it. Like,
Yeah.
how much is equipment? Let's say if you buy the cheapest, let's say the cheapest, everything
Cheap.
included, $300.
No, more than
That's a
that.
steal. I'm saying that's a
If you get it
steal.
used, if you get it used,
300, that's a lot still. Just to start.
300 for
Then you got to pay for a league.
that's a
House league is
house
at
league
least
600,
650. Yeah.
600,
That's
and then
$1,000 a year because kids grow. So they need, let's say, a whole new thing of
I think the
equipment.
cheapest hockey league is 600. I think the most expensive is 10, 20.
Well, select for my team was like, you know, it was cheap for select, but I mean, to play competitively, you have to pay like over $2,000. Like that's a
Yeah.
lot of money.
I think some of those really bigger teams get up to 10, 20 area.
Oh, that's AAA, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I know they get up into that range. But so we're not looking at the greatest players. We're really not, because we don't know who could have, you know what I mean? Like we know who the greatest basketball players of all time are, because because you can't go up to
All
someone
you
and
need is
say,
basketball, yeah.
yeah, you can't go up to someone and say, "Hey, you can't play basketball." Same thing for soccer. Same thing for somewhat football. Um, I don't know about the rest of the team
Yeah.
sports, but as far as the major baseball too. Like we have kids who grew up, like my buddy Victor was saying in one of the podcasts, is that kids in the Dominican Republic grow up playing baseball with bottle caps, and now they're in the MLB.
With bottle caps. Whoa.
Yeah, man. Watch episode 3.
That's insane.
um, yeah, so that's why I don't think hockey's the greatest sport ever, but it's still a fun sport to play.
No,
Good.
yeah.
Uh,
I agree with that though. Yeah. It needs to be more like, do you think it can be in the future or no?
I think it can. I 100% think hockey can become more affordable, but I also think that there's, you know, I'm one of those people that believe in the conspiracy that hockey is expensive because of the fact that they're trying to keep the league the way that it is with the same type of people. The hockey culture is disgusting, dude.
You
Hockey
think
culture.
that
Yeah, hockey culture is terrible. The combination of terrible parents who drag their kids to ice rinks to yell at them for hours and make them feel like they're terrible people. The the clear drug abuse amongst hockey players and alcoholism amongst hockey players. Not saying that other leagues don't have it. And some of the disgusting things. Like you remember the University of Ottawa and how they got is it Ottawa, and they got the death penalty for what they did to that girl?
University of Ottawa, there's no death penalty in Canada.
I'm pretty sure. Well, either this death penalty or they got suspended for 2 years. But there was like this crazy
What
rape.
happened though?
There's like a rape allegation against the team.
Oh, a whole team?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm not
wow.
going to go into detail on that. Anyone wants to look it up, they absolutely can. But things like that are
That
just
sucks.
so common in the hockey community in Canada. And you hear people tell stories about it too. And you're just like, you think it sounds, as a young kid, you think it sounds cool, but it's not cool, man. Like that's shady as hell.
Wait, so they all got convicted?
I don't know. I don't know if they all got convicted, but I know they like dismantled the team because of it. And then the I believe the university wasn't allowed to have another team for a few years.
Yeah.
Um, so that's like, yeah, that's why I really distance myself from hockey. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, because I still, as much as I enjoy the game and being on the ice, and I still play from time to time today, but as far as watching the game, I don't like to watch hockey on TV. I think hockey culture is just absolutely terrible. It is the worst culture amongst any professional sports.
What
Absolutely.
about what about NASCAR?
Professional team sports that are not that are not people driving in circles. But yeah, if I'm comparing hockey to football, basketball, baseball, and soccer, I think hockey culturally is the worst
You're talking about
because
minor or professional though?
professional.
Okay.
Minor has its issues too, but I think a lot of those issues span across all minor leagues because
Yeah.
parents can suck terribly. But once you get to the higher levels of hockey, the culture there is just horrendous. I mean, it's a culture that doesn't promote individualism, right? We had the face of hockey for a long time was Don Cherry, who is a racist, misogynist, homophobe, probably an anti-Semite. Like, he just hates everything that just isn't white purist society, you know.
But you can't tell me you don't love the Don Cherry drinking game.
It's a very easy way to get absolutely hammered in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Very easy way to get hammered in 20 minutes because he knocks off everything on that
Oh,
list.
literally everything. Playing the piano, thumbs up, talking to
No.
the kids.
Yeah. Oh, you see here, kids. Telling you what you don't do. Look at this. Look, good Canadian boy. Yeah, man. It's just
I'm surprised it took him that long to get off air, to be honest. So.
it took him so. It's surprising how long it took him to get fired. I am so shocked. He should have been fired earlier. And there's people who don't agree with me on that. But yeah, it's just, hockey is a culture that promotes conformity to one specific thing, whereas basketball, soccer, baseball, football, they really promote individualism.
I
It's
thought
why
football is like you get a whole group of guys to conform to one.
I'm not talking about team wide. I'm talking about like individual culture outside the game,
Oh, okay.
culture and lifestyle outside the game. That's what I'm referring to. So,
Oh,
for
okay.
example, hockey players have to show up to the game in suit and tie always.
Basketball, football players don't?
They don't have to, no.
Okay.
As long as you're not on the bench in the NBA, as long as if you are on the bench, you do have to have a blazer on, but underneath that blazer, you can wear whatever you want.
Wait, so somebody can just walk into the arena in a tank top and shorts?
Russell
Like,
Westbrook, man. Russell
Russell
Westbrook.
West.
Look it
What
up.
what sport is that?
Basketball.
Basketball. Okay, I don't
Yeah,
watch.
too much basketball. You gotta get more into it. You missed out on a great championship run,
Well,
man.
no, I did watch the championship run.
Okay. Better have.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, like all these other sports, they really promote individualism and allowing guys to be who they want to be. Whereas in the NBA, in the NHL, like the most depressing, not depressing, but the most concerning thing about the NHL is I remember one time people were talking bad about PK Subban because he was wearing all these flashy suits.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to jump in and say, like, I'm annoyed as hell. Like, each time I see PK Subban, like, I like PK Subban. He seems like a
Yeah.
real nice guy. Every time you go in the comment section,
Uh,
they're always ripping him. Like, I mean, why are you ripping this guy? I don't
because
get
that's
it.
the thing. Because it's that individualism that I'm talking about. It's
So
that
that
fact.
they're afraid of the individuality that he's expressing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's the biggest problem that hockey has is that no matter who you are, they want you to be that suit tie. Like everybody loves Sidney Crosby because he's a good kid from small town Nova Scotia and he
Doesn't
dresses.
say much. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what they want every hockey player to be, right? If every hockey player could be a Sidney Crosby type personality, then that would be perfect. But I hate that because why do I want larger than life athletes? I love Alex Ovechkin, Patrick Kane, PK Subban, these larger than life personalities, because that's what I watch the sport for. Because I love when their passion comes out when they're
Yeah.
playing.
Well,
right?
yeah, that's what you want. You want someone that's passionate, right?
Yeah, because their passion that comes out when they're playing is not just about, in my opinion, the passion that comes out when they're playing is not just about the sport itself and being good at the sport. I think it extends deeper into their own personalities as well. Like
Yeah.
when Ovechkin scores goals and he gets
Oh,
amped
yeah.
for it.
He's every goal is his first goal.
Absolutely. And I love that about him because he's passionate about the sport and what it took for him to get there. Like if I was in the NHL, I'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I'd be doing the same thing because you earned it. Be proud of
Oh,
yourself and
yeah.
what you accomplish and express that. Right? The NHL needs to 100% get rid of number one, the dress code. Dress code
What do you
needs to
think?
go. Yeah. First thing that needs to go is the dress code.
Well, in minor hockey, most teams have a dress code too.
Yeah, that
Like, I
needs to go.
mean, you
That needs
think?
to go. That needs to
But
go.
doesn't that, like, I mean, as a kid though, I'm now okay, it has to go in the pros, but as a kid, doesn't that
Absolutely.
teach you to, like, look your best, show, um, and
Well,
it's
here's another thing though that I say
more
as
of
a
a
kid.
team, like you're more, if you're dressed the same as your team, right? Walking into the arena, like I'm saying with like the tracksuit or whatever.
I mean, the tracksuit maybe, but what I don't agree with at the minor league level is at the youth level is forcing the kids to wear suits because you don't know how much money that family has that they just dumped into this kid's hockey that he's got to now wear the same suit every single day he goes to the rink because they can't afford more, and you're exposing him to the possible ridicule of not being able to be as fashionable as a kid who comes in different suits because their parents make more money.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense
that's
actually.
why I think it should
Yeah.
go. But the tracksuit, yeah, if you want to show up in a tracksuit, you want to show up wearing something that's related to the team, absolutely, because it's for most kids, it's part of the registration.
Yeah.
I don't know for other organizations, but for most organizations, when you pay for your registration, you get your tracksuit with it, your varsity jacket.
Yeah.
Um, but the hockey culture needs to change. Like you go into a hockey dressing room, it's all about country music and EDM. No one's listening to rap. No one's listening to reggae,
Well,
hip hop,
maybe, yeah.
R&B, Latin music.
I've seen PK's Instagram feed and he's like working out with his music. This one example of like uh some of the criticism against him, and people in the comments are like, he's a cancer in the room, and they're talking about his music and stuff, and that
Yeah.
goes hand in hand with what you're saying. But I
Yeah, that's
mean,
why I don't
I don't think as
that's
a cancer in the room. Every time I see him and
he's
whatever
having a
he's doing,
great time.
he's the most positive guy. I don't know if I've seen him without a smile on his face.
I've
Like
met
I,
PK
I want to be
Subban.
around that guy.
I've met that guy. He is the funniest guy you could meet. He's the type of guy that if you talk shit to him in public, he will laugh it off, talk a little bit of shit back, dap you up, and then just like go about his business. He's a funny guy. He's a great personality. I've met his younger brother, Malcolm. Same thing. Both very respectful guys. Like that, great personalities. But the hockey culture doesn't want that, right? Hockey people want you to be the Sidney Crosby because that's a good guy. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Sidney Crosby is a good guy. But what if he's not?
Yeah.
He's just
Well,
playing. He's playing the role that the hockey community wants him to play.
maybe this individuality that's not hasn't been allowed to be expressed in the past is changing now, like
Hopefully,
slowly, because hear me out, like the sellies, I don't know, like sellies, they're getting more, they're becoming more evolved in the NHL, I think, a little bit, but also in the
yeah.
younger ages, like in 10 years when these kids get to the NHL, which everyone's do, like they're gonna be celebrating like no tomorrow, like Ian
We
Housley, like
hope
kids are
we.
sliding, they just love because they get it from the game, right? They see
Yeah.
all these celebrations in
Well,
NHL
let's
20.
hope that along the way they don't
So
have someone tell them they can't do that. Let's hope that
yeah,
whoever they get to experience as a leader allows them to be their own person and allows them to express their creativity and individuality. But right now, in that's why I don't watch hockey.
yeah.
That is it,
Well,
and I stay away from the hockey community as much as possible because of the fact that I know that this is not how this sport should be. This is not how any community should live with a bunch of people, tied up and not being told how to act and not acting the way that they feel comfortable, within reason.
Yeah. For
Uh,
the celebrations though, like you said, like I don't think that, anyone should tell them that they shouldn't be allowed to do that, right?
yeah.
So is there a line? Because I'm wondering, because to me, I'm like, I want to show respect to the other team. I'm all about
Yeah.
respect to
I think,
our own team, but the other team and the refs. And then you also don't want to showboat, right? So
well,
where's the line?
here's the thing. There's obviously my belief is you've worked hard to get that goal. Celebrate that goal. Don't do anything obscene. Don't do anything offensive to any particular demographic. And you know, obviously, if you're, most people will say there, and you got to understand where you're at in the game. So if you're up 7-0 in the first period and you're still throwing down celebrations like this is the first goal of the playoffs, then obviously you're not doing it right. But if you're up 7-0 and you still want to celebrate. You've earned it.
Yeah.
You've earned it. Um,
Okay. Because I'm okay with the celebrations to an extent. But yeah, like you said, when we were up like 5-0, I'm telling them, you better be skating back to the face-off circle. No
well,
celebration.
I say
You
we
know.
it's a very my big belief is that we should never allow someone to not be happy or not acknowledge their accomplishments and their development and all that they've worked hard for.
Yeah.
So that's why I encourage players to celebrate what they've worked hard for. But obviously there is within reason. So if you're jumping around and it's 7-0, you're just like, hey, like, come on now, really celebrate. But we're 7-0. What? It's not even a celebration. They're just letting us score goals at this point. Goalie's not even in it anymore. You know what I mean? It's kind of, for example, do you remember when the women's national team for soccer, they absolutely destroyed, I think it was Japan or whatever, Thailand, Singapore, something like that. And it was like 8-0. And the American girls were just celebrating like they just scored the first goal of the game, to the extent that the other team was crying because of how embarrassed they were on a
Oh,
national
really?
scale. And
Wow.
that's where it crosses a line, because
Yeah.
now, like, these people they're embarrassed, and you're still adding more goals, because in an international tournament like that, goal differential is very important. So it's not like an NHL season, you get up 5-0 and you coast, or slightly, you play a little bit more defensive, but you maintain intensity. For an international tournament, goals are important, because a goal will make a difference as like who your next round matchup might be.
Yeah.
So you still have to score, but when you're out there making these people feel bad, and then the U.S. women's national team is like, oh, they're always trying to, these misogynistic men are always trying to tell us how to behave, when they, like, no one's trying to tell you how to behave. They're just saying, like, you're making these women that worked
You're
equally as
not,
hard
yeah, being
hard to be
considerate of the
there.
other team. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not being considerate of the fact that they worked equally as hard and they're losing in front of not just a few fans, in front of the world.
Well,
Embarrassing.
that's what I try to teach my team, right? Respect for our own team, the refs, and the other team, right? So
Yeah.
one thing that I saw in pro sports, the UFC fight Conor McGregor and the Cerrone guy. I don't
Yeah.
watch it too much, but
Yeah.
anyways,
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I saw that
I
fight.
but like that McGregor isn't known for his respect, but I
That's because
mean
he
even
got
he
absolutely destroyed by Khabib, so he knew.
oh
he learned not to talk trash anymore. He saw what happens at the end. You talk a lot of trash and you lose.
oh
Yep.
maybe, but I mean at least like what I really liked is that he showed respect afterwards and
Yeah.
hugged who was that, his mom or grandma,
I have
the
no clue.
cowboy.
I
I don't
don't
know.
remember.
That's what
I do
you
not
gotta
remember.
be classy in a win and classy in a loss. That's the way I see it.
But yeah, no, I think it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to be a part of. I still think hockey is a great sport because I play it. I enjoy being out on the ice and playing the game. Uh, I just don't like the hockey culture. and I hope it changes as the world starts to change, and maybe it'll get there. But right now, it's not the greatest sport because not everyone's involved. It's not inclusive of everyone, and it's hockey locker rooms can be a very toxic environment in my experience.
How
Not
how is that? Like
just
towards you?
no, just like if you're a timid person, just the energy, like the things that are said, like we've heard some of the conversations that are like people, we know what locker room chatter can be like. And for some people that can be considered pretty toxic because they're not looking, because not everyone is that kind of person who has that aggressive locker room chatter.
Oh, okay.
Some people just want to get in and out, be cordial and leave. And some people want to say some crazy things in there. So everyone's experience in the locker room is different, but it is something. Listen, I enjoyed a game, but I wish it would change. And if I had the opportunity to be in the NHL today, I'd be a part of that change. I'd be a part of that movement. But this coming from a guy who is still playing men's league, so doesn't mean I can't do it from here. But
Hey, if what's his name can do it? What's his name?
who?
The 40-year-old dad that took a W against Toronto this year.
Oh, the goalie. The goal. That's
Yeah, what's
different.
his
That's
name?
different, though. That's goalie status. Goalies have different status. You
Hey,
can
but
call
you
up.
never know. You never know.
Yeah, I
You
might
could be
have.
like the Philadelphia Eagles fan, right? He walked onto the team,
He
right?
did.
Wasn't that a movie? That was a movie based on real life. I think he went to try out for the team and he made it.
Well, unfortunately, NHL teams don't hold open tryouts like the NFL does.
Oh, the NFL still does that? Open
I don't think so
tryouts?
either. They
Okay.
might. They might if you have enough money or can get someone to sponsor you into doing. I don't know. There could
That's
be a
pretty
way.
cool though.
I know there's a lot more opportunity to have like a random dude off the street be in the NFL than to have like a random person become a hockey player.
Yeah.
I think there's more opportunity in the NFL for like greatness.
You know what big you know what I hate how everyone can't play it too. Like when I run my own programs, like if price is an issue, I try to do whatever I can so that
Yeah.
that person can still participate.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking like how can you make it more affordable? Because the ice, like that's an expensive cost. But I mean, like the equipment, like the only thing that I can see is that, maybe even in arenas, like there's just whole sets of equipment that people can use.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, you
I
know
don't
what?
know.
To anybody
Right?
who's listening to this, if you have old hockey equipment, donate it. Don't sell it back to, I mean, this sucks for Play It Again Sports, but donate your equipment. Don't sell it back for money. Give that equipment away to someone so they can have an opportunity to play and be part of something that, because, hockey can be a great sport, but it just sucks that everyone can't be a part of it. It really is a hard sport to make sure that everyone gets to be a part of it, and we'll figure it out. We'll absolutely get that opportunity to figure out just being more inclusive, be more inclusive. People, allow everybody to have a chance and have a say in all aspects. I think that's a solid note to end on, man. I think
Oh yeah,
I crushed it at the end.
inclusivity right there. Yeah, save the best for last.
Crushed it at the end. Jordan, man, thank you for coming through. We've been going at this for a while. This is probably one of the longest podcasts I've done.
Oh yeah, well, thanks for having me. I'm honestly a little disappointed it took session number 5 to get on, but but I'm happy that I'm here.
Thought you were going to be session number 1. Listen, you
I,
dropped the fifth. You dropped to a fifth round, fifth overall pick, man.
5th overall. You know what? It's okay. It leaves room for growth.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to have you back. Please, if you are listening to this in the GTA area and you have a child or have a niece or nephew or little brother, whatever it is, and they're looking for a place to trade, Cats Bros Hockey. Do you guys have a website?
Oh yeah, it's catsproshockey.com. Yeah.
Why didn't I just think of that? Instagram, anything like that?
Oh,
You got
yeah,
an
yeah,
you got
yeah,
Instagram and all that. All
yeah.
right, there you go. Can all be found under Cats Bros Hockey. Help support my buddy here and his coaching, his league, his training camps when the coronavirus is
And
over.
maybe Richard will be a part of that soon.
Maybe,
Hopefully,
maybe.
as
Guess
long as you move back to Toronto, you better come.
if I'm, you know what, I'll come as a guest coach at some of the camps if I'm in the city over the summertime. I'll run a couple of clinics myself, work on some of the things that I'm good at. So please follow Jordan and Cats Bros Hockey. Obviously, subscribe to this podcast. Oh, dude, this is not episode 5. This is episode 6.
Oh man, I got bumped down again.
I just realized that. I'm like, oh yeah, man, episode 5. I'm pretty sure this is episode 6.
Episode 6.
Oh, you
Okay.
just dropped in the draft.
That was another dagger to the heart here.
Dude,
God, no.
I can't wait to have you back. Can't wait to do it again. Please follow, subscribe, like, comment, share, all those good fun things. And can't wait to have more episodes coming out. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks for coming through, man.
All right, yeah, thanks for having me. See
All
ya.
right, later. And